I'll begin with me introduction and introduce myself in my native language. Y'all bene, Shay Jolene Smith, Dasha Janef. Adon Enschlen, a now Caden Enschlen, Ado, the Betlejem Bushes Chin, Twitch eating a dash che, Dot is a slana a dashinale, Twinish ye or yede, Shalta, a slat de, a slat de ulta agi, a inistra. So what I said is, my name is Jolene Smith. I am from the Mexican clan and born for the Black Sheep clan on my father's side. My maternal clan are the Bitterwater, and my paternal clan are the Mini Goats clan. And I teach at Kayenta, and I teach 5th grade. My unit is from David Engerman's U.S. Social Movements through Biography, and my unit is called AIM and Native American Political Activism in the 20th Century. I stole that from David's writing, so I thought that sounds better than my other topic. So my content is, I want my students to learn about 4 main leaders, and I chose Clyde and Russell and Dennis Banks and Anna Aquash are the 4 main prominent leaders who established the AIM movement. And I want them to understand how these leaders addressed the tribal concerns and issues with the US government. And the strategies I use are numerous. As you can see, I use charts that are on huge white paper, and I will display them on the walls in my classroom, and we will review these charts on the walls. Example of these strategies are inquiry, cognitive dictionary, exploration report, pictorials, mind map, process grid. Those are some of the strategies I used. And for example, up on the top right-hand corner is a pictorial of Dennis Banks, and where I provide them information about his life as a child, as an adult, and what the things he did with AIM. And then I kind of like compact it down to a mind map and just pull out key ideas about what he did. And then that went on to another chart called process grid, where we put all the leaders together and what are the key things they have in common. And then we write paragraph out. So those are examples of how I use the strategies and helping students understand about the AIM movement and the leaders. And the standards I use address what I did within the unit, how Native leaders were aware with the changes that are happening with the people, the Native American people, and how BIA is Bureau of Indian Affairs, had influenced the Native tribes and supported them in some ways. And the next standard was about how a lot of the families from the reservations were relocated into the city, trying to make them, I guess, an American. That's what a lot of the elders used to say. Are you an American or are you a Navajo? And they would say that. And that's one of the terms that came out of from the relocation of natives into the cities. And then the next standard talks is about how the movements affect the historical part of American Indian. And we talked about why did the AIM leaders take over these public landmarks and sacred sites? Why did they do that? What is the purpose of that? And then the last part of the standard is how did they inform other tribes and make them aware of what's going on with what the government is doing? So that's the standard that I pick with in my unit. And the next one is the Dene standard. I focus on PO3, not Anige Ehozini, Belhajon Tolef, means identifying the attribute of what a leader is. And right now, I'm at this point towards the tail end of my unit. They are currently putting together a big book of what a leader means to them within terms of in their school setting and at home. What are the attributes of being a leader in those settings, and how do they help their family and the school? And I kept learning logs so students could input and reflect of what they learned about the discussion for the day, or what are their thoughts about what they have learned so far. And I'm just putting some quotes of students. Joshua stated that it was sad that boarding school treated them as bad kids. Juana stated, I'm glad that they did a lot of things to help Indian people. And LJ stated, AIM leaders had to do what they did back then, but I think we can't do that today. Addison stated, they had to be brave to do what they did. I think it would be scary to have soldiers at Wounded Knee. And we talked about a lot of these quotes they put in and said, why would it be like that today? Why would you be scared of that today? And what are the changes that are happening today? And the last one, Keo stated, I'm glad Clyde Belcourt is still alive. I think he's one of the main leaders that's still alive. The others have passed on. And that he can do stuff to help Native Americans that live in the cities. And he kind of made connection with that because he just came back from living in Phoenix, which is one of the major cities in Arizona. And his mom stayed in Phoenix, and now he's staying with his grandma to live here on the reservation because it was more expensive to live in the city. So he made that connection of how Belcourt helped a lot of Native Americans that live within the city. And that's the end of my unit. Yeah.